It's that time of the month again. That's right, it's tier list time. We've been in Season 2 for about a week, which has been about a week of ranked gameplay, and I think I have a good grasp on at least what I think the meta is and what the meta kind of looks like right now. So join me as we talk about what the tier list in Multiversus looks like at the start of Season 2. So in comparison to other tier lists, this is going to be a bit different. I'm not going to talk too much about threats, as it's not so much who you have to look out for. A lot of this will also be like popularity, at least on like the higher elos, and how much trouble I personally have, my own opinion mixed into it. So we're gonna start from the top. Boy, do I hate this character. This character is ridiculous. They have no business being here. Who I think the #1 character in the game is Arya. I think it's low-key so uncontested, I want to put her in a tier on her own. She's incredibly popular in higher levels. She's, if I'm not mistaken, doing pretty good in tournament play. If I'm being honest, I think if you lose with Arya, you got outplayed. Like, no matter what. It's never a character diff. Like, you just got destroyed. So I think for sure she's #1, uncontested. But I have to add somebody else to this tier. Just for the sake of it. Like, it would just feel wrong if they weren't in this tier too. And it's got to be Iron Giant. Personally, I don't think Iron Giant is that crazy. But I understand that the average player is not going to be pushing his disadvantage as much. And even in like the average match, you don't get to push his disadvantage that much. I think Iron Giant right now, it's too hard to succeed against him. And it's so easy for him to succeed against you. And I feel like because that ratio feels so skewed, it's a clear sign of like one of the best characters in my opinion. Sadly, I think he's gonna get a lot more nerfs, but again, I've been having a lot of good times against Giant on this patch. I think it's a lot easier to exploit Giant's weaknesses than Arya's, and personally, that's a big part of why I think Arya definitely, to me, is better. This is my top 2. I think Arya is insane. I think Arya is insane. So we're gonna put her in her own tier. So in S tier, I have a few characters who I do think kind of belong here. I think there is a clear amount of the characters who are just this good. And I'm sure you guys know it, but let's go see it. First up, I'm going to put Finn. I think Finn is pretty insane right now. I think Finn has just amazing hitboxes, low lag, it's disjointed so it's not trading. It's kind of the same gist where it's very easy for Finn to make your stocks not matter, and it's really hard to make Finn's, like, it's really hard to like push Finn's disadvantage that well. Even if you get hit and it doesn't combo, he can protect himself with like just the gigantic up smash hitbox. He's just a great character right now. I don't think he's like super duper crazy, but I definitely think he's one of the best characters in the game. Next is going to be, I'll put it a little more ordered, and I'm gonna put Joker. I think Joker has kind of fallen in popularity for some strange reason, because he still has amazing hitboxes, he has amazing camping potential, and he has amazing damage output. Now, one thing, if you heard me talk about it the other day, I think these two, Finn and Joker, I think they have the best jabs in the game. I think both of their jabs are insane and play neutral kind of for them. But Joker gets insane damage output and he has stronger neutral, while Finn gets pretty good damage output, but you might die. The more Joker gets explored, somehow he keeps getting better combos, which is pretty insane to me. He's just one of the better characters. I'm not sure why he's not super popular. I'm really not sure. But he's still just as strong as he used to be. Next up is going to be Gizmo. This character is frustrating to fight, man. He has really good neutral control. Car is still pretty dang good. Umbrella is still pretty dang good. I've been starting to understand a lot more of his weaknesses, though. But it's just hard, man. It's just really hard to fight this guy. The saving grace, he's light, he's pretty easy to combo, and he's not like the best boxer. It's just difficult to get majority of game plans going against Car, and then full screen arrow charge. I definitely think Gizmo is one of the better characters right now. I was surprised to feel this way because I thought he was kind of falling off, but nowadays there's a good amount of Gizmos in like the higher elos, and I think when I fight all of them, usually I have to BS my way to victory, or I have to do like crazy things in neutral to win neutral. And even when I win neutral, Gizmo isn't like a weak character when he's cornered. Finn, in it, for example, Finn is pretty weak when he's cornered. Gizmo isn't very weak when he's cornered. So it's a lot harder to push some of those advantages. Last but not least, in my opinion, for this tier, is Morty. Okay, I think Morty is just... Come on, man. I think Morty's insane. I think he's still such a solid character. His layer 1 game plan is still so good. His disadvantage is so good. He can get like really quick armor on a teleport move. I think Morty's pretty nuts. He's not like super duper popular, but Morty is just always really, really scared to play with or to play against. Even though he got some smallish nerfs last patch, I still think he's genuinely really, really good. I think he's so good that I don't want to play him because it'll push his metagame. So Morty's, if you guys could get better, or devs, if you guys could nerf him so that way he's a little weaker. That way I can play my boy. I'd appreciate that. One or the other, one or the other. But for me, that is the S, like big S tiers in my opinion. If I see any of these characters, I think I'm in for a super duper sweaty match. A+, I can definitely see these characters being an S tier, which to me, it's going to sound crazy when you look at it, but you'll have to see. You'll have to see. All right, first up, of course, Wonder Woman. I don't feel like I have that much trouble with Wonder Womans anymore. The average Wonder Woman does not do as much damage to my heart and soul as any of these other players, and low-key even of like some other characters in the list. I feel like things have to work out a lot more for this character. Even though she's still BS in a lot of departments, it feels a lot easier to fight against Wonder Woman, especially in a ones environment. Like, I don't have to worry about lasso. Sair is dodgeable on reaction with some punishes. Nair is still really good. Jab is still really good, and she still has really good specials, but it just doesn't feel to the same degree as some of the other characters, in my opinion. Not to say that she's not strong. This is literally like 7th in the game, but personally, I just think there is a notable gap between the two tiers. Oh yeah, armor in general, especially when she's burned out, not fair. Super duper not fair. Okay, next, this is gonna look kind of crazy, but hear me out. Taz. Dude, I have no idea what to do against this character on this patch. I do not know what happened, but I cannot fight him. Nair is insane, combos into Sair. Tornado is like really, really hard to punish, and if you jump to punish it, he can dash attack and low profile to the other like side of the stage. That like spit move has a giant hitbox even inside of him and does a ton of knockback. And it's like really good for ledge trapping too. And he's so small and fast, it's just hard to hit him, man. I 100% think Taz is really, really good on this patch. I've been trying to figure it out with multiple characters, and I've been struggling with multiple characters. It might be a matter of me not playing like super duper top tiers when I run into Taz. But if your problem is the top tiers, gotta say, you might just be a really good character. I think Taz has definitely had a big rise in my own power levels of the game. And it's nice to see. It's really nice to see. Next up is going to be a very classic upper tier character in ones, and that is Shaggy. Same thing with like Shaggy nowadays. I don't think Shaggy's anything to write home about. He's good. He has like really good confirms, but I don't feel like I'm getting BS'd anymore. If I don't run into random rage side Bs, I feel like my life is a lot easier. And the Shaggys are getting a lot better too, but it just doesn't feel like the typical Shaggy has the same amount of threat as these characters. Shaggy still has a very, very good jab and his neutral's really solid, but again, I just feel like Shaggy's one trick is slowly getting easier to fight against. So because of that, I feel like Shaggy has moved down for me. Next up is Batman. Now, Batman got gigantic nerfs last patch. He can no longer do dash attack into kind of imagination. Now he just does dash attack into just normal combos. which his normal combos are insane. So he has amazing normal combos. If you get the Bat Bomb on you, you pretty much have a chance of dying even at 10%. Batman's nuts. I do not enjoy fighting this character as much, to the point where I could even see Batman being up here. If I wanted to be completely honest, out of these characters, I think Batman has the best impression on me. But it doesn't always feel as hopeless. I don't know what it is. It feels like Batman works on like a timer system, and without it, he's not as scary. So I'm a fan of fighting Batman a lot more. I still think he's an amazing character. Kind of the same thing to say with all of these guys. I still think they're all pretty amazing characters. Just not as amazing as the rest. Next up for me, though, I gotta put Steven, man. I think this Steven character is insane. I am so sick of fighting Steven with anybody I play. The thing is, he has so much to burn cooldowns from your opponent at such low risk. He creates terrain and he can run through it, and he has a super duper fast disjointed Sair that reflects projectiles and kills. I'm happy the Stevens aren't spamming Nair anymore, because it was just annoying to fight against. Now they're just doing the good options. So instead of being annoying, they're just good. And I'm like, all right, well, I wish he was spamming Nair again, because I'd take that any day over them doing this Sair move. So Steven has definitely been moving. I wouldn't even say moving up. I feel like he's always floating in that area for me. But in terms of how frustrating he is to fight against, he's definitely going up. The Stevens are getting better, and you can tell. So I think that's it for my A+, aka let's say intro to top tier. Now A tier, I think A tier is where a lot of characters are. For the most part, this is like the threshold of if I think your character is like pretty good. But there's a lot of characters here. Surprisingly though, you guys are gonna see this list is gonna get weird. Here's where it gets weird. And first up, we are going to have, I think it's this, Black Adam. This guy has like 50 million dodges because of his side special. Like I fight side special and it's like a dodge attack. For me, it feels like Black Adam's plan is so like one-dimensional. For the most part, you know what he's going to do. And him landing with aerials isn't as good, but it's just so hard to catch him. It's like, even if you don't punish his, or if you don't get hit by his move, it's so hard to actually like punish him that it can be really frustrating. Out of anyone, I think I could go to time against Black Adam players, because he's really hard to kill, he's really hard to combo, and he's really hard to catch. Ultimately, I don't think that plan pushes him into like the, I guess like A+ tiers. Low-key, if I think about it, it might be better to just do like S+ and S, but I think it's better this way. So I wouldn't move Black Adam to the A+ tier, because I just don't think the game plan is that strong at the end of the day. But right now, it is pretty strong, and it will be really annoying to deal with. He's also just like a great 50-50 character. If you get put above him, you're probably just dead. So yeah, he's a good character. He's a good character. Very fun to play too. All right, next up. You guys know it. You guys may have been waiting for it. That's right. Samurai Jack. Watch out. I think a big part of this is his popularity. I also just think he's in this area anyway, but his meta got pushed really, really fast. His jab is really good. Side special is degenerate. Yes, it's so good to the point of degeneracy, but I don't think there's a whole lot there. I think he has trouble landing. I think his specials have a lot more like whiff lag than you might be used to, but I just think side special is really, really strong. He can struggle a lot against some of the other characters above him, but I feel like he has a good time as long as I don't have to worry about landing too much. Like if the matchup devolves into I have to nair, I don't think it's too good for him. Ultimately, you guys know I played a lot of Samurai Jack. I think landing is really hard. He doesn't have a great straight hit kill move outside of like being in focus. And I think he can have trouble pressuring people when they're on the wall. I think those are his weaknesses. And I think sometimes it does show, and it's just going to take some time for the general player base to get there when it comes to making it a little harder for Jack to do his thing. That being said, he's definitely moved up a lot. in the last week. And I think it's really cool because I just think he's a cool character. And I think he feels really cool to play. So I'm glad that he feels a lot better than I thought he would be on day one. Next up, this is just going to be the little void section. So you can kind of guess who's going to be here. Agent Smith. So I think Smith's nerfs didn't matter that much. I've been labbing him. The things that I liked about him, he can still do it. It's just like a little weaker. He still has really good combos. Still has pretty good neutral. I think his side special is reactable, but it's just like a good mental stack. His disadvantage isn't terrible. His weight's good. He has good movement. I think Smith honestly has a lot more going for him, but his popularity plummeted with the nerfs. So you don't see Smith anywhere anymore. But this is a little void pick. I think Smith definitely deserves to be there. Right after Smith, it's got to be Bugs. I know what you guys are thinking. Void? I thought Bugs was bottom 5. There's no way. I don't think Bugs is bottom 5. I think Bugs is a very respectable A-tier character. He still has really good combos, even out of Nair, even post nerfs. He has really good camping potential. His safe is still really good. His rocket is good. I think Bugs is in a very solid spot. There's characters who are stronger than him, but he's definitely not a weak character. There's a lot that you can do with him, and I think, in my opinion, Bugs is probably one of the hardest characters to play right now, as funny as that sounds, just because the confirms you need to actually hit to succeed with him are a little harder to get than most. But with that being said, I think if you put in the time to learn him, and you just practice his confirms, I think you'll have a good time. Next up, I don't know who to really put here. I think it'll have to be this guy, though. It's got to be Rick. Do I got to say anything? His jab's crazy, bro. All right, I think we're good. All right. Nah, the jab is nuts. Now that the Rick started doing jab into jump dodge Sair, it opened up Rick's game so much more. But I feel like characters can be a little better at approaching now. It can be a little harder to keep that space. And even, like, to a degree, people can be better at fighting jab. But overall, Rick is just really good, man. Aerial Meeseeks, the backpack, has a giant hitbox that lingers infinite. If he hits jab on you at, like, 80, and he starts charging up special, you know, you might die. If he's gigantic and he hits jab on you at 80, you're dead. If he's gigantic and he hits jab on you at 0, like, it just does infinite damage, because you can't DI away. Typically, you can DI up, but when he's big, he can't DI away. So you just take a ton. I think Rick's really good. I'd like to see more out of them right now, because there is a lot of Ricks, even in, like, the high elo, arguably more than, like, some Smiths. Or maybe even some, like, Black Adams, because I don't think Black Adam's that popular. But I personally just don't feel like Rick is a lot stronger. I think I'm starting to figure it out. So I'd like to see what the next layer has for Rick. I think that'd be cool. Next up, I'm going to put Soups. Big Soup. He got some nerfs. I feel like he still kind of does everything he needs to. He's big. He's good at pushing disadvantage. I haven't fought like a whole lot since the last patch, so I can't say for sure, but I know that the Supermans are still thriving. He still has like a pretty good loyal player base. Still has good damage output. All in all, I do think Soups is in a very good spot, and I'm very happy about that. Next up is going to be Harley. There's some Harley tech I have that I haven't shown people that I guess a few people know. I think it helps her out a whole lot. I wanted to do a stream about it, but I'm too busy having fun with some of the other characters. But even without it, I think Harley is really good. I think she still has good mobility. She still has like one of the best Sairs in the game. I wish that down tilt was better. I feel like down tilt is kind of a null factor, so you kind of just run around praying. But I still think she's in a good spot. I wouldn't put her in like the lower half of the characters. Not even close. And I can even see her doing a lot better. So I think that'd be cool. Last for this tier. Okay, this is going to be crazy. Okay, this is going to be crazy. Everybody's going to be like, Void, your opinion sucks. Okay, but this is the last character for this tier. It's Raindog. Raindog got one game plan, and it's pretty damn good. I think Raindog's pretty hard to fight. They found out his good confirms. They found out how to camp pretty decently. He's just, it's like Black Adam, but he struggles to kill a little more. So, in my opinion, I think Raindog on the current patch is really good. I feel like I don't think he's good, but I struggle with almost every rain dog. Not only that, I feel like the game plan's just good. It's hard to hit him. He doesn't have a lot of end lag. He has a lot of situations where you might die, and if he's not in a good spot, he can escape pretty well. I'm a big fan of where rain dog is right now. All right, the next 3 tiers for sure will be quick and clean. You know, we don't have a whole lot of characters left. So first off for B, in my opinion, is Tom. I don't think Tom is that good. I really don't think Tom is that good. A lot of people do. I don't think his game plan is too crazy. It's like dynamite up tilt, which is, I mean, it's pretty good. He has 3 dynamites. And then like Jerry shots, but I feel like it's pretty easy for most people to kill Jerry. And if you're not killing Jerry, you're just killing Tom. So I don't feel like Tom is too hot right now. Even though he has amazing combo game, it can be hard for him to kill. It's still easy for him to die, and I just don't feel like his strength is there. Because you know it's bad when, like, bro, I love running into Tom and Jerry's. I used to not, but I love running into Tom and Jerry's. So personally, I just don't think Tom is amongst, like, the better of the characters. The layer 1 is really good, but it's still difficult for him. You know, I actually don't want Tom and Jerry buffed either. I don't want them buffed. So next, this is the blasphemy one. Stripe. I don't know what happened with this character, because I think Stripe is really good, but this character has no representatives. Nobody's pushing his meta. He's just gone. I don't know what happened. It was kind of the same thing with Smith. The representation just isn't there, and I'd like to see it be there a little more, but even then, it's like the Stripes I do run into, it's nothing super duper crazy. So to me, I feel like both of these guys, personally, I think Stripe should be higher, but I just don't have any proof, even amongst myself. I feel like Tom's in a good spot. Lack of rep? No, if you know me, I care about rep a lot. I care about representatives a lot. That's it for B tier. I genuinely just think it's these two. I don't think there's like a big amount of characters in this specific tier. I just think it's Tom and Stripe. It took me a long time of thinking about it too to really like grasp how I felt, but I do truly feel this way about just these two being a little below some of the other characters. So next is going to be C tier. And surprisingly, I think Garnet is kind of goated in C tier. Her hitboxes are still pretty good. I feel like it can be a little hard to kill, but Garnet got some really good reps, and the reps put in mad work. So I'm a big fan of where Garnet is, at least in terms of player base. Clearly not a big fan of where she is character-wise, and I've said it before, I just hope Garnet becomes like a big threat. She'll probably be really annoying if she's good, but I'm down. Garnet needs some love, man. Garnet needs some love. So next, I'm gonna put LeBron. I feel like LeBron is always pretty good. This is just hard, man. I think being a projectile character is hard. And no ball LeBron is just really bad. So I have a lot of faith for LeBron ultimately. I don't feel that great about him. I really don't feel that great about him. I just don't like the idea of being tied to no ball LeBron, when no ball LeBron is as bad as it is. His disadvantage also isn't fantastic. I actually strangely think Sarah buffs kind of helped him out. Just give him a better move to stall with. We're gonna have to see. LeBron being a character, he probably has like one of the craziest combo game in the game right now, but even that isn't enough for him. Next up, I'm gonna put Marvin. If you know me, I actually think Marvin needs a lot of help. I'm not a big fan of them just nerfing him. I don't know if they just don't want projectile characters to be good, but I think Marvin sucks. I think it's really hard for Marvin to kill people, and I think it is very easy for Marvin to die to people. I think it's so ridiculously skewed that it's kind of nuts. But ultimately, Marvin is really annoying, so everybody's gonna complain about him, and if he ever got buffs, everybody would be like, oh my god, he was so good. Bro, Marvin is not good. He's really not. I think he has a few good things, but when you boil it down to just like basic stuff, it is very hard for Marvin to kill you. He has to rely on like really long cooldowns or really long like special moves. It's just not too hot. So to me, I feel like it's hard for Marvin to fight back in a lot of those situations. Even his disadvantage isn't that crazy. Air side special is good, but you have to pray, man. And I feel like in this game, that's just not what you want to be doing. Next up, is Jason. Surprisingly, I actually don't think Jason belongs here. I think Jason's pretty good. Putting Jason over here. I don't think Jason's that bad. I think Jason's pretty good. Things still kind of suck for him. I'm not gonna lie, but he's not. I don't think he's as bad as I think those characters are. Good jab, good kill power. His buff is really good. I always say I think it's a good thing if I just have to worry about fighting 1 to 2 moves. A little bit matchup based, and he still kind of gets comboed by everybody. But I think Jason is in a much better spot nowadays than he used to be. So last but not least, that's right, it's Jake. I don't think Jake is bottom 2. Woo! Yeah! Jake has moved up. I don't like where Jake is at because the tools that he has that are strong are kind of all he has. But when you fight against the Jakes on like the higher tier, you know, they are a lot more creative, but they are good at using those tools. Now, I wish Jake had a much more put together kit, but Jake's kit being unput together, but still having those strong tools, sometimes makes him a threat. I'm not gonna lie. So Jake, congrats. You have left the realm of bottom 2. Please enjoy your stay. I hope you do not come back. Now here we go into F tier. That's right. I don't think this is D or E. I think this is F tier. And number 1, it's Banana Guard. Dude, nobody plays this character anymore, and he sucks. People just aren't gonna go and get hit by his typical moves anymore. Side special is such a thing. It's such a season 1 thing. I just don't think this character has a lot going for him almost at all. He does hit hard, but I just don't think it's that crazy. Ultimately, I wish I could see more so I could like get a higher opinion of him, but I just don't have an opinion of Banana Guard, as I have seen a grand total of 0 in season 2. But you can also tell if you look at how good the Banana Guards are in the respective character rankings, he's just not doing too hot. And last but not least, that's right, Arya Stark. Yeah, Arya's kind of bad right now. I don't know what to say. No combos, can't kill, light. Yeah, I just don't really like her very much on the current patch. But you know who I do like? Velma. That's right, Velma is gaming right now. And by gaming, I mean not playing the game at all. She literally sucks. Holy... Dude, I had to take a break from playing today. I genuinely had to take a break from playing because I was trying to get Velma out of bronze. And I just... dude, every match is so hard. Every match is so ridiculously hard. She doesn't have forgiving hitboxes. She doesn't have good frame data. She doesn't have reliable combos. She has a bad disadvantage, but thank God nobody goes off stage to edgeguard me because nobody knows how to fight this character. Nobody knows how to fight Velma, and it's still so hard. Like, low-key, I think Velma should be in a tier of her own, just so far on the bottom. But my own faith is saving her from being clearly bottom 1. Now she's just bottom 1, and I really do hope that changes. I really do hope that changes. But yeah, ultimately, this is what I think about the game. I think I could see... Well, this kind of looks like a top 10. I could see any of these characters being in somebody's respective top tier, in my own opinion. I wouldn't really... If somebody's like, yeah, I think this character's top tier, I'd be like, yeah, I could see that. I think they're almost top tier, but, you know, at that point, it's just opinions versus opinions. I think these characters are all really good. I'm a big fan of where their kits are. I could see slight buffs, I could see slight nerfs, and I wouldn't really be batting an eye. I think these characters, if they get nerfed, it's probably really sad. I think a bit of help could be cool. And then everything over here, I think these guys just need help. Like, nothing but help. Morty should be higher? No. I think Arya is clearly in her own tier. I feel like Garnet could be ranked higher, actually. The main things with this list that I disagree with, I think Smith and Bugs could be lower. I think Harley could be higher and lower. I think Tom and Stripe could be higher. I think Wonder Woman... Well, I mean, if I say any of these guys could be higher, I mean, that's fine. I think most people think Wonder Woman's higher. I don't think Wonder Woman's higher. I think Wonder Woman is a clear notch behind other top tiers. I think Velma could be higher. Maybe like T tier. You think I'm overestimating Rick? I think I'm properly estimating Rick. I don't think Rick is a top tier, and these are all the characters that I don't think are top tier, or I don't think could be top tier. I like this list. End of the day, I just like making tier lists that I'm happy with. I don't think that always one-to-one equates exactly what the game looks like, but I think it's a good way to put my thoughts down. So yeah, that's it. If there is another mid-season patch, we will revisit this list, or if there's even like a big patch this week, we can revisit the list too. It's my opinion on the patch right now. I think season 2 has been really good. I'm a big fan of where majority of the characters are, and just can't wait to play more ranked. But yeah, see you guys later. Remember to sub either on the YouTube or the streams, and catch you guys at the next one. Peace.